honest.
DmC is a fresh take on Devil May Cry, so it doesn't fit in the timeline of the original games.
The most important part of the Devil May Cry DNA that we've worked very hard to maintain this time around is that quick control responsiveness. The game needs to be able to allow the player to do exactly what they want to do very quickly with no lag, and they need to look really cool doing it. On the other hand, some things that we asked Ninja Theory to play around with and to experiment with, and we got some really good results on, was taking that the base actions that you are capable of doing and expanding upon that, deepening it, adding a new dimension, which they did quite literally by adding a lot of vertical combat this time around, doing some lengthy aerial combos and chaining between enemies. It's a lot of fun, and it is very new. We haven't seen anything exactly like this in previous entries in the series.
So the world in which this game takes place is the current world, the real world, the world around us right now. But there's another dimension that sits on top of the real world, and that dimension is called Limbo. And that's where the demonic influences reside. Dante, having demon blood in him, is able to cross worlds. So when a demon finds Dante, they'll drag him into Limbo and they'll try and kill him there. So the world is this living, breathing place. It traps Dante, it spawns enemies, just like a body would spawn white blood cells. And it shifts and reacts to his presence in a kind of this angry, vitriolic way. We call it malice. You just seem to be surrounded by this threat, this malice. And events that take place in Limbo as he's fighting then are also reflected back in the real world. So when you fight a boss, like for example today we showed him fighting on a pier where the big wheel kind of gets dislodged and rolls down the pier. That also then happens in the real world. In the real world, the media is spun against Dante.
Sweet.
So they class him as a terrorist and public enemy #1. So in Limbo, Dante is literally fighting against the world. And in the real world, he is hunted. He is detached from society. He hates the demons. But that doesn't mean he goes around moaning about them all the time. He releases himself through action and through his one-liners that kind of provide that relief. And that's part of integral to what Dante has always been. So we haven't lost that. We kind of stripped him back down to his bare essentials, understood how he grew up, what's made him the way he is, why he has these attitudes, and then we've allowed him to kind of let loose when those moments arise. So I think there'll be a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor there. What we're showing for the first time is the actual style ranking system, which is a stalwart of DmC. And we're making it very clear and accessible, so you can learn to master the combat. And as a reward for that, as a reward for reaching those higher rankings, the triple S's, you get the music kind of builds up and amps up as you're playing, and the vocals kicking in. We wanted this DmC game to be accessible. Now, often when people talk about accessible, the subtext is they mean dumbed down. And we wanted to make sure that that's absolutely not the case. So hence we've been collaborating quite deeply with Capcom Japan on the combat system, introducing all the elements that make DmC what it is, even right up to features like familiar features for hardcore players like jump cancelling, enemy step, parrying. They're all in there. And the idea is that even if you complete the game, even on the second playthrough, you'll still be discovering more moves, more abilities, more ways to play. The game is being released this year, so from now on you should be seeing much more information, new things coming out in the lead up to that.